And then I'm also gonna go ahead, go live on Facebook real quick.
I'm going to see, my computer's rebooted. I'm going to see if I can jump back on the computer and off my phone. Okay.
Okay.
While everybody's still coming in. Okay. So I'm going to try that now. So hopefully I can just do it from my computer instead. And then I'll just hop off of the phone one. I was having a hard time getting my sound. That was the problem. I think I should be able to get in now.
All right. So we are live on Facebook now too. So first off, I apologize, guys, for this getting so messed up. This is what happens when I schedule stuff myself and Ashley doesn't do it for me. So now that we've got it all put together and we've got Jeanine here, we're going to walk through this whole kind of process, where this came from, how we kind of took it a step further. So the way this all came out was we were talking during a totally different event. And Jeanine brought up that they do a chip your pet event, right? So in looking at that, okay, I love the idea of doing the chip your pet, getting people, we pay for the chips, it's great for the community. But then we started thinking, okay, how do we take it a step further and get more of our clients to show up to make it more of a client event? And so, for those that don't know, I was a vet tech in my younger days, and chips go bad and chips migrate. And most people don't know chips migrate. We used to find them down in paws sometimes.
Yeah.
So
there's a third component, Joe.
What's that?
Some people will get their chips, their pets chipped, but they forget to register them.
Yeah. And
that's another way to get them in. So
I think Pet Stablish told us it's something like 40% actually register them.
Yeah.
So giving people the opportunity to come get the chip checked, get it replaced if it's not working, get it replaced if it can't be found, and just create an event out of it, right?
Absolutely.
So Jeanine, tell us how you've done these events in the past, and then we'll walk through kind of what to do as we're planning it, what to do during it, and what to do to follow up after.
Well, obviously, the very first microchip event I ever did was for like a really poor community, because that's where most of our animals that we were rescuing was because of that. And so that's where my idea as a real estate agent came about, how I could utilize that for my own business. So that's kind of how it all started. Is we were seeing a high number of animals going into the shelter during celebratory periods like 4th of July and New Year's. And so we started doing 2 events a year, just so we could make sure that animals that, we're going to get returned to their owners and not have to be euthanized at the shelter, because the shelters in our area are very overcrowded. So, that's where it all started. And then I knew right away, because I would always get calls from, a lot of people like, how can I find out if my animal's chipped? And, these were not people that necessarily needed them for free, but who doesn't like to get free stuff? And so the very first one I ever did to benefit my real estate business was I started holding them at my office. My broker is an amazing animal supporter, and he actually has an office in Hawaii. So he has transported pets back and forth between Hawaii and California. So he would help us do our swag. We would do swag bags. We would get branded bags that he would buy, and we would put all kinds of goodies in there for the pets, like toys and collars and leashes, and of course stuff for the humans too. And that could be, a market report, or, hey, if you own a home, do you have a trust? How about your kids? Are you protecting their future too, and not just your pet? Stuff like that, right? So that's where it all started.
Yeah, I love it. And I love the idea of bringing it to more than just people who absolutely need it, right?
Yep, absolutely. Yeah.
I'm gonna pull up my little screen here so we can walk through.
While you're pulling that up, when you're having an event like that, you get people that line up. And if you hold it at a visible location, which my brokerage office is highly visible, and people see that, you have people that just stop by and say, oh, what's going on? It's really, really cool. And of course, my big old Remax signs are out there, and we're on the boulevard, we're on a main boulevard, and and we have other real estate offices that have seen that stuff that we've done in the years past, and they're doing it too. And they actually contact me and say, Jeanine, how can we do an event to benefit animals as well? And I will roll up and show them all day long. I don't care. When you take care of animals, there are no boundaries, and there's no brick and mortar offices between, brokers. So
have you gotten the news to cover it at all?
yes, we have done that. We've done that. And what do you call them when they put out, oh gosh, I can't even think of the word right now, where they kind of let the community know of something going on. Like we do it for our local association. We do it for, anytime there's an event, you can contact your local, you can even contact your local news stations. We have I'm in the San Bernardino, Riverside County area of California. We are the next county outside of LA County. And KCAL News, we have a huge supporter reporter that comes out to our shelter. And she does a lot of stuff. And so if we have an event that benefits the community, she'll cover it as well. So yeah, getting to know newspaper people and news people are really important. So yeah, they'll help us cover it.
And so you've been holding it at your office. So I figured we'd walk through, planning this beforehand. What all do you need?
Yeah.
Right. So obviously you need scanners. I would have at least 2 people with scanners.
Mm-hmm.
Other thing I will say as agents, you should just have a scanner.
Yeah,
and
you should
become your neighborhood's person for scanning lost pets. It is the best way to meet people. What's the Nextdoor? The Nextdoor app.
Nextdoor. I use Nextdoor a lot. Yeah.
I have an agent friend that keeps her scanner, and then she keeps on Nextdoor. And whenever somebody's like, "Hey, I found this dog," think about how the relationships you're making there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can I add something?
Bella.
Hi, everybody. Happy, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. When you get a scanner, make sure you get a universal scanner, because a universal scanner, often, I'm known in my area as the microchip detective.
Ooh.
Yeah. Trust me, if I could write a book on animals. Let me give you an example. We had one that was found, had a microchip. I traced it all the way to Chico, and it was microchipped during when there was a fire, the big fire that they had in Chico, and it was a veterinarian who implanted it in cooperation with Chico Animal Shelter. But then this has been 2 years, and it ended up in Elk Grove, California.
Oh, wow.
So the odds of finding that owner is going to be very slim. So my only suggestion was flyers and posting online. But you got to have a universal scanner, because sometimes I'll get somebody saying, oh, the microchip is blank, or it doesn't have one or something. And then I go and scan it, and it sure in the heck does have one. So it's because some of the like Petco or PetSmart, they might not have a universal, and there's over 22 different registries.
Absolutely. That's very, very important.
So if you're going to purchase one, buy a universal.
There are inexpensive ones you can buy, and I do not recommend that. I recommend that you invest in a good quality, and a good quality is going to run you about $250 and up. So I do recommend that you invest in a good universal one. Thank you.
The one I have is I just looked it up, and it's $400. I'll go grab it real quick.
Okay. Yep. There are some
as far as chips, you can get chips pretty inexpensive. Your rescue friends, also a lot of them get them for free.
Yep.
So when I said, hey, we were going to buy chips, Carol came and said, don't. I'm gonna,
Don't.
yeah, we'll
Yep.
provide the chips. And
Yep.
what we're doing, just as a side note, is we're taking the scanners that we purchase for the event and we're donating to the local police departments
Yeah,
to
that's
give them
fantastic.
scanners because, you know, we work a rural part of Missouri and a lot of them don't have them.
Mhm.
A lot of the police departments don't have them.
Yeah.
So we said, hey, maybe this helps some dogs find owners if we give the scanners to the police departments. I would also say you want to have some sort of snack for the people that are there.
Mhm. Yep.
And then treats for the pets, I think is a
Yep.
big one too. Make it fun for them too, right? What we're doing is I went to my lender and said, you're buying donuts.
Mhm.
So
Aw.
they're just gonna get a local, you know, one of the local donut shops, and I think that'll be a good way to make it a little more personable, get people to kind of hang out for a little bit longer. Um,
Mhm.
did you do like I want people to register when they get there,
Yep.
right? And then did you have people like take a number? Is that what you did?
Yeah, you can do that. So our very first event we ever did, whoa, it was a lot. We probably did over 300 dogs and cats. Yeah.
Wow.
But we had a feeling that it was going to be pretty big because we had been advertising it way in advance, and we had a lot of people asking where, why, when, how, what do I do, blah. So we had a feeling. Because we advertised it so far in advance, we were able to call and get the Helpful Honda guys. So they sent out people to help, and they donated $500. That was really nice. And So yeah, so some of the things that you definitely want to do is make sure that you have slip collars and that you have muzzles as well. And you can get those from vet offices. I recommend that, maybe for the first time you can get loaners, but we've actually purchased our own and kept them on. Well, we haven't had to really purchase a lot. A lot of the rescues are so excited about this happening that all the rescues know it benefits them and helps them. And so we just contact all the rescues, and all the rescues chip in and say, I can donate this, or I have this, So, but things to have on hand it's really important. Another thing to have is we always make sure that we have extra cat carriers for the people that want to bring cats. You make sure that they tell them that their animal has to, not be sick when they come, and that they do have to be on a leash and collar, and the cats do have to be in a secure carrier. And I tell them to make sure, that the carrier is not a cardboard carrier, because those cats can get really scared and break their way out of that. And then another thing to do is to make sure that wherever you host it, make sure that you can have the cats actually secured in a room. And so we do the dogs on the outside, and the cats are brought inside to a building in a room because they stay secure and everything. And away from the dog. So we have 2 teams that we usually set up. Normally we do a lot more dogs than cats, because, that's just how it is. But we are trying to get the word out that, cats need to be chipped just as much. So, but yeah, having a team of people, volunteers, your vets, your vet techs, and most of them want to volunteer, and a lot of them will donate. You can help brand stuff for them as well. We actually put some scanners into some people's hands. We did it for ourselves, but that actually were donated by vet offices, and we just have them make sure that they brand the back of the scanner that says powered by, and it'll say, Dr. Deal at, something like that. That way, it's in somebody's hands and they're using it and they're seeing that, like, hey, I'm saving an animal because of this doctor. I should probably frequent their business, so
And it's
stuff like
very
that.
hard, I will say,
Yeah.
it is very hard for veterinarians to market themselves.
Yeah,
It
absolutely.
because they're a medical field, it's you can't do kind of traditional marketing.
Yeah.
And so anytime that they can get their name out in a positive way without it being cheesy and being marketing,
Mhm.
uh, they'll all jump on it. I think I
Absolutely.
told you, we were talking about this before we went live. We're doing our event at the vet's office.
Yep.
It's their brand new facility. They want people coming in the door. They're gonna donate the text to us, because I will say, if you're doing this at your brokerage, something like that, you want a couple professional dog handlers.
Oh,
Some
yeah.
people who really know what they're doing from that side.
Mhm.
It is, chipping's not a difficult thing to do, but there's some liability there that you want to make sure
Absolutely. Yep.
you're watching out for.
Mhm.
As far as who you need there, you certainly need a couple people that are really good with a scanner. Uh,
Mhm.
you could probably call Estella and she'll teach you how to run a scanner really well.
Yeah, she could do that.
You want somebody that can do the registration. And I do
Yep.
think, at least for us, we'll probably do like, the red thing like you had at the post office. Do they still have those at the post office? Has anybody
Yeah,
been
yeah.
to the post office? Or like at the deli, like you probably need those little deli
Yep.
numbers
Take
to
the
make it
number.
run
Mhm.
smoothly.
Yeah.
As far as swag, one of the things that we just ordered is window clings that say how many animals are in the house, like for the fire department.
Mhm. Those are
So
great.
those are going to be one of our giveaway swag items to everybody. The other one, and I don't remember what meeting this came out of, but keychains that say I have pets at home.
Mhm.
So like if you're in an accident,
Yeah.
they just say I have pets at home on the back. Like things that we had never thought about that. So we're ordering those as well.
Yeah.
Thinking from a safety standpoint, what can we add in that's swag, but it's also useful from a safety standpoint. Uh,
Absolutely.
and then
Can I add something real quick?
absolutely,
Over the years of, when we had events with the shelter of scanning, and then the aftermath, people don't get organized. And when something happens to their pet, they can't find the paperwork. So
Mhm.
I would go, and it's really inexpensive, those folders, just the regular, like file folder, and add that to the swag, and they could put the dog's name on there, and that this is where you keep all your papers in a safe place. Because
Yep.
I always tell people, keep it where you keep your passport and all your, in case of an emergency. This is your paperwork for an emergency if your pet gets lost.
let me ask you,
Absolutely.
you have two people at the end of your kind of route here
Mhm.
that help people register the chip, that just have their computer, and so the dog gets chipped, they give you the paperwork and you register them right there for them.
Oh, that especially for seniors and that
Yes.
don't have access. So just to let you know, I'm going to share this with you guys. I was part of, when I was volunteering at Front Street Animal Shelter, we started this Sacramento Missing Animal Response Team. And so I have this sheet, and you guys are welcome to design it, but it has all the information. So you could put the chip number when you part of, giving them the information, and what to do when your animal gets lost, and where to register your animal. It gives you everything you want to know.
Yeah, if you
Perfect.
can
I love
share
it.
that with me, I'll put
I'll
it out.
scan. Yeah, I'll scan it, and then maybe you can, because you're really good, Joe, at designing stuff. Maybe you could just take, because this is part of the shelter. But the universal scanner is called Home Again, Universal World Scan Reader Plus,
Mm-hmm.
and these now cost $400. When I bought mine, it was only $275.
Yeah.
So it's gone up. But I'm thinking that this is the best scanner to use, because the shelters here in our area use it.
Yep. Absolutely. Those are great.
So, but I just wanted to share with you that so many times I hear, I don't know where the microchip information, then I have to do all the homework, or my other
Mhm.
friend. And it's like, if they have that information, they're organized. Those don't cost much. Like $10, you get what, 50, 60 folders, and add that into your little handouts.
Absolutely. So we've taken our registration, and yes, we have had we do a follow-up. We put our registration into a spreadsheet, and then we do follow-up. So there's your, making sure you're doing your touches, right? And actually my title rep is really good with helping me to do that, and coming up with marketing ideas for the follow-up as well. So we come up with some really cool stuff to do the follow-up, just to make sure that they have done the registration, and it's just a way to, when we do, I give her the spreadsheet, and I always have her run her, algorithms to see who of those are homeowners versus non-homeowners. And then we start to brainstorm about how we can touch them in not an intrusive way, but just so that way, when I am following up, they do realize that I'm the rescue realtor. So
we have the guide to moving with pets. Wondering if I might even print that and put it into
yeah.
So then they have their registration, they have a little bit about us, all right there in a packet. So they get their tip, boom, they go out the door.
Absolutely.
I like it.
Yep.
I like it. So from a follow-up standpoint, that's really why we want everybody to register, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I would be adding everybody into whatever CRM you're using, whatever that may be. I would be, of course, using newsletters if you do. Event invites are really good for us, not only our own events, but giving people a guide to the events that are going on within the rescue community. So, the rescues that we work with, I don't know if you noticed, Jeanine, that I used your rescues colors here in my scheme. Did you notice that?
Thank you.
I used the pink and purple, the really bright colors.
Yeah.
But event invites for not only the rescues that we personally work with, but any of the big events that are going on, we always send out something. Pet safety tips, I think, are a big one too, that you can use in email. We have a piece that we do through Real Estate Pet Project that has kind of, here's your tips for fall, here's your tips for spring. I think we should be sending that every quarter. Remind me about that, Joanna. We should be doing that. The guide to moving with pets, and then rescue stories is a big one for us too. People love hearing about the positive things that came out of any rescue situation. Do you guys share?
Anytime you hear a story about a pet being reunited because of that microchip, we send out a newsletter just for that alone, to our database. Our database for the rescue itself. We have a database of about 7,000, and we always let them know, and then of course, I use that same database, and I do get to talk about, being the rescue realtor in that, a lot of our people become donors, and we will do a donation drive to cover, hey, we're having a microchip event, so they already know. And then we always tell people that, hey, come and make sure your chip is still working, right? Make sure it's registered. Or if you've acquired a new pet, many have in the interim since the last one. And we always ask them, and most of them can pay for their own chip. It's not that's not the problem. They just like to get something free. They like to be a part of the community. So at that time, we usually do a food drive when they come. Okay, it's free, but could you please make sure that you're bringing either, like a case of kitten food or a bag of puppy food or something. And then, and of course, we don't just keep it for our rescue. We make sure that we give it to all local rescues, or we'll start with our local shelter first to make sure that they have enough food on hand. So, yeah.
We have a pet food pantry.
Yeah.
And so we're doing the event around the pet food pantry so that you can bring a can of food. We don't care what you bring, just bring something.
Yep.
So that we can try to stock the pet food pantry. Last month, I have to look, I think it was 1,300 pounds of food they gave out last month. I mean, amazing what they're doing. You know, there's a big push within the rescue community right now, that wasn't there for a long time, to help people that are in temporary hardship keep their pet. Right.
Absolutely.
And so in doing that, we started looking at, you know, how can we help provide resources for those people that are in a temporary situation. I need litter for the month. Okay, we can figure a way out. We can help with that. Any questions anybody has? Anything that we missed? I think that was a lot of info in a short amount of time.
Can I add something? When I've been in communication with the 24petwatch.com, they've given me feedback that they've since Amazon started selling microchips, they're seeing an increase of folks not registering the microchip, and they don't really have a lot of, it's really tough to track it down to who the manufacturer is through Amazon. So they don't really suggest that people purchase through Amazon because it's becoming a hot mess. That's what I was told.
Yeah, unless you plan on doing the registering yourself, then yes, you don't, you know, you want to be very careful about that, because at least with some of these manufacturers, it goes back to the source of where, if you're purchasing directly from the manufacturer, then if somebody does find a chipped pet and it's not registered, they can at least go back to the purchaser, like your vet offices, right? Or for me, if I were to, we buy them through our rescue through Pet Established. And so if it's not registered, which we do all of them, but just for instance, if one gets overlooked or something, at least it goes back to, okay, this is the group that bought it. And, you know, and that's who they would contact. So, and we've had that. We've seen where we've had unregistered chips, you know, pets that go into the shelter and they've got a chip and they're on a chip hold. But if it's not registered, all they can do is contact who is the purchaser. And normally it's a local vet office. And then hopefully the vet has a record. But yeah, that's a big part of the follow-up. That's where I found that I was getting a lot of really good and positive feedback was on the follow-up with the registration and stuff. So that's your key to staying in contact with the people that you're, you know, helping.
I've got a question about registering. It's with my kittens. After I always get all my foster kittens microchipped, and when after they got adopted, I reminded people to get them, you know, to update it, because I'm assuming it's in the vet's name. Or they'll put it, the vet's office puts it into the rescue name. One of the people told me that when they did it for their other pet, it was going to cost them $50. So I got online and I was going to register it for someone, and they were going to charge me $50 to transfer it from the rescue's name into the owner's name. Are you finding this?
There are free chip registry places now. Found Animals by the Michelson Foundation. You can buy in bulk your chips, and they will come pre-registered to you, to your rescue, whatever you want it registered to, right? You can get them that way. We do the same thing with the Pet Established chips through our rescue. There are some out there. If you're not buying in bulk and you're having to register them yourself for the people or to yourself, you know, if you're a small rescue and you're not doing it in bulk, then there are free registry places where you can do that through. So, okay.
Can I make a suggestion? It's write this one down. It's freepetchipregistry.com.
Free pet
chip registry.com.
Okay, so what I was doing, maybe this is what I was doing wrong. I was taking the chip information and using that website, and that's where they were trying to charge me. So, but doesn't, I guess my question is, if I get onto that free pet chip registry, will that tie in to the company that I use to chip, or my vet used to chip.
If you have a chip that is already registered,
Yeah.
then you will have to get, if it's for with an owner that you already know, then if it's already registered there, it depends on the manufacturer. You may have to have the owner contact where it's currently registered to get permission for a transfer. But for most part, you don't have to. If it's on the free ship registry, it can be found. When there is a universal platform website that you can go to and put any chip in, and they'll be able to look it up and do the lookup. So there are some chips though, I'm trying to think, it's maybe Avid or Home Again, I forget which ones. I think those are the two tougher ones that for the transfer, but it's doable. You just have to get written permission, or the owner calls in to see. Yeah.
No, I'm not even talking. I don't think it's gotten to the owner yet. It's like when
Okay.
yeah, I'm walking around the house now trying to find my
Okay.
paperwork on one of this chips so I could tell you which company that they use.
Can I add, check your contact information, input your pet's microchip number at petmicrochiplookup.org.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the
Here.
first place you want to go also when you find an animal that has a microchip. You want to go to petmicrochiplookup.org.
Pet microchip has microchip. Okay, I'm going back.
Lookup.org. The lookup tool provides a list of registries that may have your contact information. Check each online registry or phone each registry to determine if your pet's microchip number, and make sure your contact information is correct. So I'll make sure everybody gets a copy of this. I'll send it to Joe.
Nice.
Okay.
send it to
Yeah,
me.
it's Home Again.
Yeah, Home Again
Yeah.
is on here too.
If
All right,
it
Home Again.
hasn't, if it hasn't been registered yet,
Right.
you can put it on the free one. You don't have to register it through Home Again.
Okay,
You
because
can
I
put
think
it.
the Home
Yep.
Again was charging $50.
Yeah, you don't
Yeah.
have to do that.
There are like, for instance, hold on. Is that my dog outside? I hope my daughter's out there. Sorry. Oh, it's a cat. It's my cat. He's at the door. Okay, I'm good. If there are some of these registry places that will try to charge, and there are ways to do it for free without that. You can bypass that. But I just send everybody to the one that Estella said, free chip registry. As a matter of fact, even our pet established chips that we buy, we don't get them pre-registered to us. We send them through the free pet chip registry. And the reason we do that is we want to guarantee that that animal has been chipped to us. And so we have one volunteer that does all of that's all she does is our chip registries. And because I love the Pet Established brand of chip, but I don't like them. They charge us more to pre-register them, and then they want to charge our adopters for it. And I always tell our adopters, we do it for you. All you ever have to do is go back into your Wactopia account and update your contact information if you move. That's all. So, so we do it. We use that chip registry. So, and we've used it for multiple manufacturers. So.
Okay, good. Thank you.
I have a question also, and I think you probably answered it with what you were just talking about, but I just wanted to make sure. So if you get the universal scanner and you scan, what is going to come up? Is it just going to be the chip number, and then you go to that website and you look up the chip number to see if the person has registered their info or not?
That is correct. And what will happen is if the number is registered, then there are prompts on, to put your contact information, or you can call the number, depending on what lookup tool you're using. You can call and say, I've found a pet that's chipped. They will write down they'll look it up and they'll tell you, oh yes, it's registered. This is the dog's name. We have the contact information. May we have your contact information to give to the owner to be in contact with you. And so then you can make sure that you, now some people, I tell people when they find animals, if they're not in the rescue world, that they don't have to give their contact information. They can give our contact information if they're not comfortable with doing that meet up with, you know, the person. And I'll tell you why in our area, we have a dog bait area, where we're really cautious about that. We don't want people returning pets, in, you know, kind of questionable situations. So, we do try to get that word out. The rescue community lets people know that, if you found a pet, please bring it to a shelter for it to be reunited, or give it to a rescue to be reunited, and just to keep them safe. So.
Okay, and I was specifically wondering, because I was thinking in the instance of if you're checking somebody's pet to
Mhm.
see like, hey, is this chip still working? Is it where it's supposed to be? Did you register it if they can't remember? So it's not like a one-stop shop where I can scan and be like, oh yeah, there it is, and look, your information's in there. We
No,
actually
there's
have
no
to check.
private information that is given to the public on that chip scan. It's the registry. So you contact they'll tell you, that it'll tell you what the manufacturer
Okay.
is. Yeah. It'll tell you the manufacturer, and then it'll give you a number to contact. It's an 800 number. A live person picks up, and they just ask you what animal, how can I help you? And you say, I have an animal that has chipped. Here's the chip number. You give it to them. They'll ask you for your contact information. Then they go and try to connect with if it's registered. If it's not registered, all they can do is at that point say, okay, it was purchased at a vet office. We'll contact the vet office. Then they contact the vet office to say, we have a cat or dog that is chipped, but it's not registered. It was purchased through you. And do you have the contact information? And we've found pets this way through vet offices, or their owners. And they'll contact the owner because they don't give out, they won't give out private information, which is good. It's better that way. So yeah, you won't get any of that private information. They'll just tell you what the cat or dog's name is, and then if it's registered or not, and then they'll ask you for your contact so they can call you back if they get a hold of the owner.
Okay, but if I'm standing there with the owner, because I'm just making sure that it's registered, would they be able
Oh,
to?
they'll
You
have
can't
to.
tell if
Hey,
it's registered.
address we have, is this
You-
right?
They'll have to go on the registration to look up to make sure. They'll have to do that. So,
You'll make sure that what you'll be scanning to make sure is that that the chip's findable and then it's reading.
yeah.
Okay, so I can't.
That's-
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah.
And then they can look and see, we can look on a computer and say, okay, it's been registered or it hasn't.
Yep. Yes,
Okay,
exactly.
but if they
Yeah.
want to know, like, oh my gosh, I got the dog at my last house and I can't remember if I updated the information, I can't help them at all with that, other than to say, this is the number of the company that you registered it with,
Yep.
you need to talk.
That's what, yeah.
Okay.
Then they'll help them. They'll help them to find out if it's, if they don't know, like I recently was contacted by somebody that says, okay, 2 of my 3 cats is chipped, but I don't know if they're registered. I don't know. And so then I've given them the information because they couldn't remember like if they registered them or not, or they're like, I remember registering them. I just don't know, what email and password. Right. And so you'll just get them in contact with the chip registry and go from there. So that's kind of your way. And then again, that's an opportunity for a follow-up, right? Where you can follow up like a week later and ask them, hey, were you able to find out if your animal is registered and if it's registered properly? So yeah.
Perfect, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And so just so you guys know, even our animal shelters make mistakes. I recently had a cat that was taken, somebody took it over to our shelter, and they scanned it and they said it was blank, wasn't registered. So of course, then they send me the chip number and I start doing my detective work. I was even able to, because I'm approved with 24-hour pet watch, that the shelter approved me, so they will give me the owner's information so that I can,
Nice.
if I need to go do a door knock or something, if it's safe. And come to find out that cat, I was able to track down who purchased it and when it was delivered. And it was delivered, our Elk Grove Animal Shelter is run by the police department. So I had the date, everything, the delivery, and it was delivered to our shelter. And so that chip that cat was chipped by our own shelter, and they denied it and said, oh, no, this is not. So we were able to escalate it to the
Hold on one
director.
second.
Uh-oh. Cat wants in.
My daughter's on it. Oh my gosh.
So even, I mean, there's things that happen, but if you build a relationship also with folks that work at the shelter, because if you get into a chip from hell, if you have a contact, even the shelters even have information where they pay for that tracking system so they could track down the owner in case they moved. And so, I mean, with me, I have a supervisor. I can text her the chip number and said, hey, I did everything I can. What can you find out? And then she'll text me because she trusts me. She knows I'm not going to give out anybody's information.
You really are the detective. I love that. That's so cool.
Awesome, guys. Well, thank you everybody for coming. Everybody for sharing
Thank you.
your insight, your wisdom. If anybody's interested in joining the pack, reach out to me. That's our group where everybody gets all of our social content, postcards, all of our monthly training, all of that fun stuff, our referral network. And I hope everybody has a good new year, and we will all talk soon.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
Thank you. If
Happy
you guys
New Year.
need, if you have further questions, feel free to reach out to me.
Thanks
Thank
again.
you.
Okay. Bye.